My position of consistent atheism confronts man with the possibility of choice. One's freedom is defined in terms of one's own potentiality.
If you, like me, don't believe in God, you are able to do what you want without being held to the standards of a higher power. You are free because you have the potential to be anyone and do anything.
When a man really sees for the first time that nothingness exists within himself, he suffers anguish. He is unable to bear the thought of his boundless freedom, and he often adopts the cover of bad faith, thus making himself unauthentic.
When you see for the first time that you are free to do and think whatever you choose, you feel lost, because it's hard to believe that you do not have a specific role or purpose in the world. You make yourself believe that you do. Living like this, in what Sartre calls bad faith, is considered inauthentic because it denies reality.
The first act of bad faith is to flee what it cannot flee, to flee what it is. Bad faith is the primary obstacle to authentic existence, the forfeiting of the responsibility of freedom.
It's easiest to deny your freedom, but you must come to terms with it. Overcoming bad faith is the hardest part in becoming authentic because it means you have to take responsibility for your actions without any excuses.
No matter what circle of hell one is living in, one is free to break out of it, so that of their own free will, they put themselves in hell. Many people are entrusted in a set of habits and customs that they do not ever try to change. To me, such people are for all intents and purposes dead, to be wrapped in a perpetual care for judgments and actions when they do not want to change it is a living death.
If you sin or act irresponsibly or wrongly, it is your own responsibility to change that. Denying your potential or accepting negative aspects of yourself as absolute is the equivalent of death. This leads you to a passive existence that neglects your freedom because he believes you can't be inherently good or bad.
Nothingness comes man's despair, but also, if he has courage, his existential integrity. Integrity is the acceptance of responsibility for one's own existence, and the subsequent realization that the essence of one's existence is dependent on the choices one makes. All choices represent a commitment to the long-term endeavor of making ourselves who we are.
Being genuine or true to yourself is the only way to be authentic. Choosing between different ways of life is in fact to decide what type of person you become.
Free and creative activity is emblematic of the idea that to do something is to create existence. If what we are is constituted by our projects and goals, then it is always open to us to consider who we are in light of who we want to become.
Self-expression through creativity, like art, music, or writing, is how you create yourself. You are what you do, create, and think, so it's always up to you to consider your current identity and compare it to what you want to be in the future.
The self that you are depends on the self you are not yet, to the exact extent that the self you are not yet does not depend on the self which you are.
Who you are is dependent on who you want to be in the future, and who you want to be in the future is independent from who you are.